Notes 10A. Combining like terms. Objective. I can simplify expressions. Essential question. How do I use order of operations to combine like terms? Law of sameness. We have 4 cats here. They're the same. 1 cat plus 3 cats is 4 cats. 4 pennies plus 1 nickel plus 2 dimes plus 1 quarter. Those are different. So we can't add those together without changing them to something like coins or cents or something. 2x plus 2. Those are also different. That is because one has an x and the other term does not have an x. Now let's look at this expression and simplifying it using PEMDAS. So first we look at parentheses. We have some right here. These terms can be combined. 7 minus 1 is 6. Bring everything else down. From here we're going to do the exponent. There's one right here. 6 times 6 is 36. And bring everything else down. So now we have x plus 5 times 36 minus 3 times 4 divided by 2. Now we're going to look at multiplication and division. 5 times 36 is 180. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And bring down the x. Now we're going to do addition and subtraction. 180 and minus 6 are both constants, so we can combine those like terms. 180 minus 6 is 174. So your simplified expression is x plus 174. Combine like terms. Again, we're going to follow our PEMDAS steps. For 3 times x minus 4 times x minus 2 minus x. So we have parentheses x minus 2. But all the terms have already been combined that are like, so we're done with parentheses. There's no visible exponents, so we're going to go on to multiplication and division. We're going to multiply by distributing that negative 4 into both of these terms. Negative 4 times x is minus 4x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. Carry everything else down. So we're done with multiplying and dividing. Now we're going to combine like terms by adding and subtracting. This has an x, this term, 3x. Negative 4x, that has an x in that term. Plus 8, that's a constant. So we're going to skip that for now. And minus x. If you combine all 3 of these x terms together, you get negative 2x. There's only one constant, so we'll just add that onto the end of the expression. So our simplified expression is negative 2x plus distributive property. We're only going to distribute this time. Multiply each term by negative 5. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 6 is a positive 30. And that is our standard form from our factored form. The next one, 3x times x minus 6. distribute the 3x into each term. So we have 3 times x. 3x times x is 3xx, which is x squared. 3x times negative 6 is minus 18x. We're going to rewrite these two x's to be x to the second power. So that is our standard form. Now we have 3x minus 5 times x minus 6. So to do this, we basically combine these two together. So we have 3x parentheses x minus 6 plus negative 5 parentheses x minus 6. So from here, we just combine these two together. Now this 3x came from right here, and we keep the second factor in parentheses. This negative 5 came from right here, and we keep that second factor in parentheses. We have a plus sign here because we're combining these two products together. So let's look at our x squareds. This has an x squared. This term does not have an x squared. This term does not have an x squared. And the last term doesn't have x squared. So we're just going to write 3x squared as our first term. We're done with that one. Now let's look at x's. This one has an x. This term has an x. The last term does not have an x. So we combine negative 18x and negative 5x together. They have the same sign, so we add. So we have minus 23x. And it's only x because we're not multiplying here, so it just stays x. And then we have plus 30. That's our constant. So this is our standard form. 3x squared minus 23 times x plus 30. Let's combine like terms on this one. We have x minus 3 squared plus 5. This squared means that this factor x minus 3 is repeated twice. So we're going to expand it and write x minus 3 twice. These are being multiplied together, so just like in the previous example, we're going to put x parentheses x minus 3 plus negative 3 parentheses x minus 3 plus 5. Let's distribute. Multiply each term by x. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is minus 3x. Negative 3 times x is minus 3x. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. And then we have plus 5. So let's combine like terms now. We have x squared. None of the other terms have an x squared, so we could just go ahead and write that down here. X squared. We're done with that term. Now let's do our x terms. Negative 3x, that has an x. This term has an x. These last two terms do not have an x. These are the same sign, so we add them together. 3 plus 3 is 6. It's a negative 6 because we're adding negatives together. And let's do our constants. 9 plus 5 is 14. So this is our standard form. X squared minus 6x plus 14. So let's talk about our steps again. The first step was to expand. Step 2, we're going to distribute. And then the last step, we combine like terms. For our last example in these notes, we have 12x to the fourth power over 4x to the second power plus 2 times x squared plus 3 times x. So, we don't have any parentheses here, but we do have exponents. So we can simplify these. Let's go ahead and expand them out first. 4xx. So notice there are 4 x's at the top and 2 x's at the bottom of the denominator. Plus 2xx plus 3x. Now, I expanded these because I want you to see that these x's will cancel and these x's will cancel. These are just 1. X divided by x is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. These x's remain. There's 2 of them. So we have 3x to the second power. There's 2 x's here. Let's go ahead and write that back in the exponential form. Plus 3x. Now let's combine like terms. We have x squared right here, and we have x squared right here. 3x squared plus 2x squared is 5x squared. And then we have a plus 3x at the end. And that's our simplified expression. So the first step here is to expand. We wrote out our exponents in expanded form to cancel them out. Our next step, we combine like terms. And that's it.